Welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where spirit meets real life and intuition leads the way. Every episode, your hosts, Dr. Vicki Haspels and Keryn Rose, dive into the energy of what's shifting in the cosmos, in the collective and within ourselves.
Hello and welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust. Welcome, Keryn.
Good morning. And it actually is very much a good morning.
It's lovely. So today we are talking about the power of choice.
Love it.
And what that means. When you say it carries so much energy and it has its own power. And so we are looking at how the power of the choice is not so much in the choice that you make, but the step that you take into that choice. And so, of course, from the Salt, Sage and Stardust perspective. So, Keryn, first of all, hello. And
hello.
Ready to dive in? What are your thoughts about the power of choice?
Well, it's always fascinated me that, thank you, Pop, from sharing from the pulpit, the only, in inverted commas, difference between us as part of the animal kingdom and everybody else is this gift, and he used to always emphasize it's a gift of free will. We have the gift of being able to make a choice. And I never really appreciated the power of the word gift. Yes, we can make a choice, and so many people forget that we can make a choice. And yes, other animals make choices as well. Birds choose where they're going to build their nest. So all animals can make a choice. So where's the gift? And the gift is that we have this awareness that we're making a choice. And we have the ability to give this choice meaning. So it's not as simple as, I'm going to drive through this orange light. We know there are potential issues in driving through an orange light when you're on the road. It's kind of like there's magic in making a choice. And are we plugged into the magic of the choices that we make? And therein, for me, it's just mind-blowing. It's like choice is the commencement of creation for us as individuals. What are you going to do with that choice, Keryn? I go, wow. Whereas animals don't have that ability to take it any further. They've made a choice. There's a reason for it. That's it. Full stop. Game's over. But for us, both on the going down the rabbit hole perspective, as well as having magic come to us, it's like it opens this door to abundance for every choice we make. So how's that for an explanation?
It opens up lots of discussion points around what choice means to us and how we view our world through the power to decide what path we're going to choose or how we're going to respond. And as you were talking, I'm thinking also too, it was sort of coming to me that oftentimes people feel that they don't have a choice, that something happens and it was out of their hands. And how really difficult that is, because the mess that they're left with after that thing happens, I didn't ask for this wasn't my choice. And in that moment of realizing that this thing happened, your response is the power of your choice, because you get to choose how to respond. And even non-action is a choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And be okay with that.
Yes.
That
yeah.
this is the magic that we talk about is that we have that privilege that we can see a choice and we can act on that choice. And even, as I said, inaction is a choice, and that's okay too, to be
That
able to reflect on it.
that that point alone, that deciding to do nothing is still a choice,
Yeah.
for me reinforces we are choosing all the time. Every moment of every day we are making choices. And it's not necessarily a judgment call. This is how, this is the gift that we have. If we make a choice, we don't like it, we get to make another one,
Yes.
because we know in that moment something within us has said, no, this isn't quite right. You know, I'm sitting down to my third cup of coffee and suddenly my stomach goes gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. I'm not feeling too good. And I get the choice of, okay, I won't finish that cup anymore. I'll now start on a glass of water. We have choices all the time.
Mm.
And therein lies the excitement and the potential of the magic. And I do want to have our listeners understand that when something happens, and it's, we can be quick to say, I didn't do that, that's not mine, that kind of doesn't matter. Something has happened. Resist the urge to place blame. Be in the moment to go, okay, this has happened. What am I going to do about it? But if we get caught in, well, that's not mine, I didn't cause that, I didn't spill that glass of milk, I'm not going to do anything about it because it's not mine. You're making a choice. But the choice, I feel, is linked to the fact that you don't want to own it. It's like somebody else has been involved, so why do I need to get involved? It's that something's happened, what are you going to do about it? There you go.
I like that. That when we acknowledge and maybe even realize that we have a choice, saying no, that's somebody else's problem, or that wasn't my fault, we're actually deflecting the power that's off in that moment. That's where the power is.
Yeah.
That's where we have the most influence over our next step, our
Bullseye.
life.
Suddenly you've made that other situation
Yes.
yours. It's a case of, how can I, in my sovereign being, work with that?
How can I benefit from this?
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes.
And by outsourcing that choice, you're actually you are taking away the energy that's been built up from this thing that happened, deflating anything that could benefit you, and you're right back where you started. And when we're talking about karmic lessons, and when we're talking about the power of how life meets us and how we meet life in that moment, every time something happens that is out, that requires us to make that choice, is our universe, or our a spiritual journey, if you like, giving us the opportunity to make our life better. It might seem a bit crappy at the time, but there's magic in that moment. And in that
Always.
moment of choice is our power.
Yeah.
And so, but how are we going to wield that power, Keryn? What do we do with that without acting on it in a forward moving movement? The power diminishes with every choice to not act, or to outsource the the choice, I guess, or the responsibility for it. It becomes less and less until we get another opportunity, and so that cycle continues, and it feels like we're on this treadmill of almost like a victimhood treadmill, if you like.
What I love about what you're sharing, Vicki, is it's reinforcing the gift in making a choice is that choice is our anchor into who we are, and it's our anchor into the power of making a choice, because it's in each choice that we are literally creating our path, ideally our path forward. It's and in a world that is so uncertain, our power of choice is what gives us certainty. It reminds us we always have agency. We always have access to us and our lives are created through every decision. And I'm not even going to say a good or a bad, because when we make a decision, that judgment call of good or bad is for us to feel. And that's where the sage, that's where the embodiment comes in. But we'll get to that a little bit later. It's in that choice. It's like the salt part of us, we make a choice. It's anchoring us into this gift of free will. It literally grounds us. And choice and certainty are wonderful companions. Uncertainty can't exist when we are making choices and we're conscious of the choices we're making. It's that simple. It's that simple.
It's very. With respect to the salt aspect of making a choice and the power of that choice, I was reminded of a couple of years ago, I had depression, real proper depression that lasted for more than, it wasn't reactive, it was set in. And I felt like all of my choices had gone. And I really withdrew into myself because there was no energy I felt to move forward. Mm-hmm. And I felt really restricted. And then something changed. I didn't come out of the depression, but something happened within me that made me aware that I could have a choice. And I'm not going to share the epiphany that happened because that's a little bit too confronting. But something happened and I had to make a choice. And the power of that moment. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've had many imperfect moments where I've blamed, outsourced my responsibility in that moment, paid the price and had it happen over and over again. And what I learned from this experience was that, and what you're reminding me of, Keryn, in that salt moment, is that when we decide what we're going to do, we make a choice. Oftentimes, our mind will want to run off. Okay, if I do this, then I can go blah, 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 blah. Yes, that might be where we end up, and that's great to make that as a goal, but to anchor the first step, you can defeat yourself by trying to put that cart before the horse.
Absolutely. So
what I learned in that moment of my depression was that, yes, I tried to reach out there into that stratosphere. My mind shut me down. So I was left with, I was very narrow. This is my choice. So I sat with that and I stepped into that choice until the way was open for me to make the next choice. And it doesn't mean to say that I didn't test the boundaries every once in a while. And then once that boundary widened, I was able to make another choice and step into it. And I was so excited that things started to change within that space, that I was allowed to engage with my mind finally. It didn't lift, it didn't change the depression, but my mind was able to engage with something other than the narrowness that I was trapped in. The power of that moment your explanation of salt reminded me of that story, is that I was only allowed to ground myself into the choice that I could make one step at a time, to be patient, to wait for the next. And we can defeat ourselves by, once we make a choice and a decision, even before we stepped into it, we can defeat ourselves by making this whole story and become overwhelmed. If that happens to you, listeners, dear listener, is that bring yourself back to that original understanding about what that choice meant. Just step into that. Because as you mentioned before, Keryn, once we ground ourselves and take a step, actually step into it and land on the ground, all of the other opportunities open up, things that we have never even or couldn't even imagine. We were given that, this could all happen to me, to allow us to feel excited about the future, but not to make it our future. Our future, the decision, is to step into that first step, that first understanding.
And that's what makes our life. It's the action. As you were talking, Vicki, I was reminded of, I'm going to say in inverted commas, the olden days, where when you had a flat battery, you'd have friends come along, park next door, you'd put the jumper plugs on and get it moving. But often you'd have people pushing the car, because to get the car, to get the engine to actually kick over, it had to start moving. It's like starting from a cold start. No. Professional athletes will warm up their muscles before they ask their muscles to be with them to do whatever it is that they're doing. It's energy must move. It's a basic fact of energy from a scientific perspective. And I do not profess to be scientifically based. It's energy must move. You've only got to look at a body of water that doesn't move and it turns green and stinks. It's not moving. I too went through a spate of depression after my son was born, and there was no energy moving within me. I had no desire to do anything, just nothing. One day, yes, something within me had me take a step. And then as I start to take a step, because a state of depression, I don't believe is a natural state. So once you start to move, it's a bit like opening a window. Suddenly, there can be this fresh air coming in, taking the stagnant air out. Suddenly, the air, it's taking that first step. And I would invite anybody that's really struggling with feeling stuck, literally go for a walk. Start physically moving your body and be prepared to be amazed at what starts to happen with your thought processes as they start to flow. Because in that movement of walking, you're out in nature. And I'm going to say, when I say go walking, I'm not meaning go on a treadmill in the gym. However, I know that there are digital devices that can be set up that, take you through. But honestly, get outside if you can. Go for a walk in Mother Nature. She's the best tonic. Absolutely the most magical tonic out there. I mean, and you live in a magical part of Australia, in what we lovingly call our outback. You're in the midst of a unique magical experience when it comes to being in the outback of Australia. But yeah, it is that movement. It is that taking a step and trusting, because every step we take shapes that moment, which then shapes the day, and that's going to flow into everything that's in your world. it's, it's not rocket science. It's just not rocket science.
And on that note,
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about taking that first step and going out in nature, as in take a break from what's going on around you, change the scenery, break that circuit. As much as we might be stuck in this little sort of headspace of and think we've got no choice. Be prepared to surrender what you think should be your choice. Like you might want to go and do this, 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 and this, and that might make sense. But the reality is that the only thing available to you is a walk outside. And if that's the only thing available to you, that is your choice. That is your whole self, your soul self, even working with the sage part of you, saying, this, I guess we're getting into the sage part now, but it is saying, and if you can be okay with that without expecting something is going to shift if I do this, just go with it. If you go there without an expectation, this is going to shift everything, or I've got to make this move over here, even though it's not possible, that's also hitting up against a brick wall and losing energy. That's not a choice. That's manipulation. If you're working with this, I'm sorry, I've moved on to the sage part, Keryn.
That's fine.
If we're working...
Because my language was also
progression.
inviting in the sage.
Yeah, the sage part.
Our sage part embodies what is going on.
Yes. The soul part is saying, I know, I understand that this is a choice over here that you'd like to get into. But for now, this is the only thing available to you. And I'd like you to follow this. Intuitively, our soul, our sage, understands what's going to be the helpful next step.
Absolutely.
Again, we can choose not to go down there. But if we would like to work in the flow of who we are, follow the bouncing ball, whatever's available. I mean, just very quickly, in my past, all this stuff is like, oh yeah, I want to do this. Yep, look after this first, Vicki. And I don't look after that. And I get very sort of shirty with myself, and my inner 2-year-old stomps their foot until there's nothing left other than that one thing. And I do that. It's like, oh man, what am I doing to myself here? But that's all part of the learning.
See, what I'd like...
part of the understanding. Yeah.
What I have loved about what you've just shared is the realization that I don't believe there is only one way, because you were saying this is the only path for you to do. My language is the most beneficial, because in not doing it, that is also a choice. So therefore, you can either do it. You might say, this is the only thing I can do. And I'll go, well, you can choose not to do it. So suddenly you've got two choices. Yeah. If we can stay curious and go, I wonder what my next right and perfect move is. It might be stay in bed. You go, cool. And I feel that, later on today, that's where I'm going. I'm going to be staying in bed. But I can also choose to get up, get my body moving, and get some energy flowing. To stay curious and to trust there is a next, and again, my language is right and perfect move being for me.
I like that.
I am saying, I'm open to it. Show me what this is, where this is, and it will ask and ye shall receive. And again, I suppose for me, I'm coming into a language situation. What should I do next? For me, the word should engages my brain, and my brain is a recording mechanism. So it's coming up to be 63 years old, and it will show me when you did that, that happened. When you did that, that happened. And it can throw up so many red flags. Whereas if I can stay curious, enter my heart, and go, all right, what is my next right and perfect move right now? And staying in the present moment, because my path is only created by my next, where I put my foot next. It's amazing the magic that happens, Vicki.
Yes.
It is truly, even for
Yeah.
this old sod at 63 years of age, it's amazing. And it ignites the little kid inside me, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, wanting to go, wow, look at that. Pure magic, irrespective of age. Pure magic. Patience, yes. Trust, yes. Process, yes, it is a process, but it's a process that our brain can't rationalize, can't grasp, because there are no words. It's experiential. And this is what I love about the gift within the choices. Because life is experiential, we are always making choices. Even when we don't make a choice is being made. And if we are plugged into who we are, we'll feel something because we've made the choice. And then we go, yeah, not liking this. Oh, I can make another choice. Make another choice. Experience, chances are, is going to shift. You go, well, like that. I'll make another choice. And yeah, you can't, it's interesting. As I'm seeing in my mind's eye about making a choice and having an experience, I can't guarantee that because an experience, a choice gave me this experience, that is always going to happen, because I'm a different person every time I wake up. The world is in a different place every time I wake up. It's like this kaleidoscope of options that every time I choose to be present in the moment, make a choice that's perfect for me in that moment. Wow, it's kind of like every sunset's not the same. Every full moon, you got to see the beautiful Aries full moon last night. It will never be like that ever again. Never. And what an experience you had. And thank Kim for sharing it on his page on Facebook. It was a stunning photograph because you had no light pollution around. It was magic, but it's a unique magic, and you have recorded that in your mind's eye.
That's true.
Ah,
I I like the idea that you introduced about the experience of the choice, and I would like to add to that, as in, just because something is apparent as a choice or a pathway, you don't always have to jump into it straight away. You can consider if this is right for me, or I'm not talking about trying to think your way out of it. As you mentioned, the mind is only a recording. It only knows the past. Our sage, our inner, knows what we need in that moment.
that's really the potentiality, that
Yes,
magic, the potential of the magic that exists is very much our sage wisdom coming into play.
And when you can connect with that, when you are aware of it, there are things going on. I mean, we talked this morning before we went on. I had a series of disturbing dreams last night that I woke up anxious. And rather than trying to decide, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, making a choice based on that anxiety, I gave myself some space to decide how I'm going to move forward. I sat with what my choices were about that. And I made a decision, I made a choice, and I stepped into it. And thank goodness. So when we realize that something is changing and shifting around us, or even if it happens out of the blue, out of our control, the next moment, our body knows that something is shifted. And even though the micro changes that we make in that moment we may not be aware of, we can still make a conscious choice about where we're going, but we don't have to do it immediately. And one of the things that I enjoy about what you talked about, Keryn, about that, to be curious and to be connected to that part of it, that curious part of ourselves, we can take a breath. We can stop and say, hang on, something's talking to me in my soul, in my inner wisdom.
In my Noah, as I call it.
In my Noah. Yeah,
In my
that's
Noah.
right.
As in Knower.
Yeah. I can take a moment. I can take a breath. I don't have to understand everything, but I can connect with that wisdom that's reaching out to me. And I can make my next step an effective response. How am I going to act next? Take a breath and choose. What's best for me?
In that, it's the realization, take strength from knowing you can't make a bad choice. In my world, you can't make a bad choice. You can't make a wrong choice. You're simply making a choice. And being aware that once you start to experience the result of that choice, you go, is it time to make another one? And for me, it's in the experience that we can remind people of the cosmic connection, because the magic of the experience is what reminds us that we are constantly co-creating with the universe. It is through the choice that we make. Once we decide, we close down all other options in that moment. Because when we approach a choice, we truly have unlimited choices. Once we decide, it's from that physics perspective, we close out all other options, and suddenly we're doing a thing. That's the thing for you in that moment. In that experience, the universe is saying, right, you've made this choice. Here's the energy associated with the outcome. And you go, oh, I like this. Or, oh, bleep, no, I don't. And you go, cool, breathe. What's your next right and perfect move? And welcome to life. That is life. And forgive me, because I know I've said it many times, kids get it. Kids thrive in this heart-based space of do what makes my heart sing. And it's we parents that go, yeah, that's for you. No, that's not for you. I can remember growing up, because I was so gifted in music and the way I was able to bring it to the world. I was just going to go to uni and study music. That was my life. There was nothing else that was even on the table, because I went along with that. It was easy. It brought me joy because I was bringing my mother joy. Suddenly, I dropped out and became a secretary. I mean, you can't do a bigger to say no, because it wasn't making my heart sing anymore. And I just got to go, wow, we know, we are made to know. You've just got to hold a newborn babe. In some arms it cries, in other arms it doesn't. That ability to know what is right for us, which is all energy, because we've come in with a plan, Vicki, haven't we? We've come with a plan that...
I truly believe that.
It's not part of our consciousness, thank goodness, because it's through our conscious choices that we start remembering what this plan is. And that's exciting. Each one of us has come in with this piece of music that as we age, we learn to remember, we start hearing it, and it starts becoming louder. And it's literally, we each have a song. We seriously each have a song within us. And it's wonderful to know.
I 100% believe that we come in with our life already mapped out. And you're absolutely correct. I 100% agree with you cannot make a wrong choice. It might feel like that you've fallen flat from the choice or the step that you take, but it always opens something up. As you mentioned, once you put that foot on the ground and you've made that choice, so much else opens up. Everything else shuts down and the new stuff opens up. And when I just would love to share that when we were discussing in our little meeting about what we're going to talk about, the power of choice, this whole visual came in. I never knew this before. So this opened up everything else for me.
Cool.
I saw that once to make the choice, I saw the foot on the ground, anchoring it in, and the power that came from that foot on the ground. That's the stardust for me. Because once we have put our foot on the ground, all the potential, all of the what ifs are out the window, and the power of spirit or the power of the universe, the stardust, enters our body. Because we chose something for ourselves, even if it's inaction.
We're activating our magic.
Activating our magic.
We are activating 100%. Our magic. Particularly
100% support.
When the choice is made with awareness. And this is where, when we are fully connected with who we are and we make a choice and it doesn't activate the awareness, then I would suggest that the choice has been made by the head and not the heart, because when it is heart-based, there's magic. There may be fireworks, there may be angels singing, whatever it is that makes you go, oh, you may get goosebumps, you may just go, wow. There's something that goes, yep, that's it. You just know.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not always big fireworks either. Sometimes it just feels right. It doesn't always have to be. I know in my early days of all of this psychic stuff opening up and everything was like bang, 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 wow, wow, oh my gosh. And then it started to plateau and I thought, what?
Oh, something wrong.
Something's wrong. And that was because I had reached the point where everything was in the flow. And then when things would hit me hard and sit me down, that was when, not so much that I wasn't in the flow, but it was time to take stock. And it might have been that wasn't the optimal choice for me in that moment. And it allowed me to breathe and make another choice and another choice. And again, that's the power that we have. That's the magic that works with us.
Absolutely.
I did want to, just quickly before, I just wanted to reassure our listeners that not everything is as cut and dried, and this does require to become aware, as you mentioned, Keryn.
It's the awareness.
When you are aware of how things, when you observe life, when you observe your reactions, not to jump in and then go, oh, everything's, do it with purpose, with intention. Then you can see how that magic happens. And even when it looks like, oh, that wasn't great, you can see it with the intention of where your choice landed and what your processes were at the time, and that allows you to make a choice in a much more informed way. The intention becomes greater, so your awareness starts to expand and has more information. I think I'm just probably explaining something that you explained, that you talked about earlier.
Honey, I love the way
But
that
your
you explain
awareness,
things.
it's like your awareness becomes greater. And it's like you have more information available to you. And that is not only the sage and the salt and the sage part, but that awareness and observation is you working with the stardust.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because you are now working for your higher good, when you are observing your actions, taking that next step, making the choice, stepping into it, and observing the outcome. You are opening up.
Look, thank you for sharing that. As you were sharing, my team were showing me, or reminding me actually, the power of gratitude. So at the end of the day, going back to the rituals that we shared in our last episode and the wrap process that I've created with my team, it's acknowledging and being grateful for things that happen to us each day. And to do that at the end of the day can help us recall shifts that have happened, because life, we can get caught up in the busyness of life. In all this experience, life can be busy, and we're certainly in a very fast paced, changing world at the moment. So to recall with gratitude things that have had an impact on your world can help you start to cement in the decisions that you've made that may have been so small, but at the end of the day you go, oh yeah, that happened. And then if you want to take it further and you journal on a regular basis, you can then go back and start to see the shifts that have been occurring, and you'll go, wow, I'm so glad I did make that little decision back then, because I feel now I can see how it started me on this path. It's everything is connected. Again, I often say everything is energy and everything is connected. And I know, something as little as looking after my grandies, I can't tell you how that makes an impact, but I trust, because we're in the moment, we're having fun, it's going to make an impact. And I love that. And I get on. It's that remembrance that every decision I make is part of my masterpiece that I am painting as I live this incarnation. Every stroke, every decision I make is a brushstroke on that canvas. And who am I to say, oh, that doesn't work? Because I'm not at the end of the picture yet. I choose to trust that I might feel uncomfortable, but then, Keryn, that might be your issue, honey. It's not the canvas's issue. It's yours. What is, and then again, therein lies living life. Everything. If I'm feeling uncomfortable, well, why is that, Keryn? It's not external to you. That's within you. Why is that? And to do it with love and grace and compassion and, the joys of getting older. It's, life is magic. I will say that until I take my last breath. Life is magic. And everybody knows what that magic looks like, because it's unique to everybody that is alive at this point in time. Just is.
I would like to add one more thing to that.
Honey, go for it. I love your additions.
A lot of people say to me, I want to listen to my intuition more. I would like to be tap into that. I'm not listening to my intuition. And what we've talked about today is purely intuitive. right down to even the deliberate choices, intentional choices that we make. Being intuitive is not working everything out or getting all of these. You don't get all of the plans all at once. You might get some prompts from your team or your guides or your intuition. They're prompts. It's still your life. And you only, as you were talking about journaling, you can only understand and notice the pattern of following your intuition when you got time to reflect. When you reach a certain point of this journey, you can say, I can see every little choice that I made that got me here in this amazing space. Unless you can actually reflect on your choices that you made and say, wow, I did that, can you only have faith in making the next choice and the next choice and the next choice. We can make decisions or choices instinctively, but without reflection, we can draw on the faith within to be courageous enough to make that next choice and that next choice. We will always be bouncing around like a pinball machine. So, journal, absolutely, reflect, look at where you started to where you came from. Even if you were a pinball machine, have a bit of faith in yourself if you can, or give yourself some credit that you got here. Look at all the choices that you make got you here, that you made got you here. How are you now going to use those experiences to ground yourself in your decisions about moving forward or choices for moving forward? So I'd like to add that.
Thank you, Miss Vicki. Look, the choices absolutely do not have to be frightening, and they can be. I less so for our generation when we were at school as to what are you going to choose to be when you grow up, in inverted commas. Gosh, my grandson is telling me now what he's going to be when he grows up, and he's 5, bless him, and he's going to be all of these weird and wonderful things, and I love it. But our education system absolutely says if you're going to do this, then this is the path you take. And when it comes to choices from the heart's perspective, the idea of trusting and having faith can be incredibly scary. We already live in an uncertain world. How do we center ourselves into certainty? And it's believing that within us, we know that next right and perfect move. Keryn, how do you know that? It's my belief. I believe each individual has been created with the ability to absolutely sort their shit out. Absolutely. How do we do that? It's the blend of the brain and its ability to be able to set forth processes, understandings, learnings that may be needed, like to drive a car, and our heart that holds that blueprint. It holds the script that we wrote before we came in here. And it's trusting, and it's not about what everybody else thinks that you're doing. Oh, okay, they haven't paid to attend your drama. They can leave. This is yours. And the world is asking you to go, right, what are you here to do? How are you going to do it? And please have fun doing it. It's, the joy, the fun, the magic, the curiosity, that will open up so much for each one of us. It just will. And how can we not trust that? Just, the magic's there.
For myself, the faith of my choices comes from the fact that I look at my life and I think, well, that worked out. Regardless of whatever choice I made, decision I made, and what I stepped into, I followed what was going on in here, and I got this. So I look back and I think, well, even whatever happened there, I still did it. So I trust that I'm going to step into something and it's going to be okay. Much like the fool in the tarot, he steps off into the unknown, but he's happy. He's looking up into the sky. He's going to fall off a cliff, or is he? Where is he going to land?
See, he's taking the action. Therein lies your Aries.
Yes.
You sit in an armchair. Life will pass you by. Nothing much, in inverted commas, will happen because we must be part of this. We must take action. There is your yin and yang. It's receiving, giving, and receiving. Oh, I'm not going to go off on that tangent.
No.
Pull a card, young lady.
I was going to say, there was one thing that occurred to me when we were talking about, because choices and decisions are two different things along the same line. So if we're talking about salt, that's your choice. Sage is your decision because you have blocked everything else out. And the stardust is the action, because that's where the magic happens, when you step into that action. So there you go. I love, there's a little, that's our blueprint, I suppose. I'll think of the name of it. It's a map. There we go. That's our map. Choice, decision, action. Salt, sage, stardust. So I'm shuffling the cards at the moment.
I'm
tuning into all that energy.
Eager to see what the universe is going to show through your cards.
I'm just going to pick a card for us, and whenever you hear this, it's for you at this moment. Doesn't matter when you listen to this or hear this. We have the Three of Cups. That's community. 3, salt, sage, stardust. Brings us all together.
It does.
3. So the Three of Cups is potential. It's the card of pregnancy and marriage. All those things that come together, and not in a mystical way. They are things that are happening. Feet on the ground. This is going to happen, bringing everybody together. Bring all of the energies together. So your choice is not only about you, but it spreads out and how it affects the world as well.
I have got to say that, I love that. I absolutely love that. And a community is only going to be as strong as the individuals, which again, I will often say. And my thought for today that I posted this morning was talking about filling our own cup. And when that overflows, it flows out into the world. And it starts with us. And irrespective of what is going on in the outside world at any time, it's what we choose, what we decide, how we co-create in our own world that makes the impact on the rest of the world.
Contributes,
We absolutely, at the moment, need our community, and enter Salt, Sage, Stardust Substack community, where you and I are starting to share tools, share information about being ourselves, being, you, Vicki, doing Vicki. You do you and I'll do me. That's where it starts. It starts when you were talking about stepping out and envisaging the future. Well, how are you going to get there? It takes the path. Each of those steps that you take get you to your perceived destination. We're made full of magic. We live in a magical world. Our connection to it is full of magic. Are we open to it? Are we going to stay curious and have fun?
Yeah.
Again, I'm starting to see a lot on social media of the importance of joy. Deepak Chopra is sharing a lot at the moment about our natural state as a human is joy. We don't have to do anything to be joyful. be yourself, you will be joyful. It's kind of backwards when you think of how we can approach so much. You go out and have fun today, and oh my God, your world will change.
100%. Yep.
You know, you have fun doing. I love doing this with you. It's,
Yes.
and I can't tell you why, but it absolutely fills my heart with joy. And then when I listen back, I go, ooh, I like that. It's a magical creation. And we're simply sitting here, chewing the fat, as my mother would have said, having fun.
Yes.
So thank you, young lady, for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks, Keryn.
And holding a space, as you and I both hold a space for each other and therefore for the rest of the world in this moment. It's magical stuff. So thank you, young lady. And we'll catch everybody next week.
Yes. Lovely. Cool. Thank you so much, Keryn. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.